myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving.
Yo, what is up? It's me, King. We're back. We're in the building with another episode of the 7200 Seconds. I got my guy, Coach Donte. He's always in the building. What's going on, Coach?
What's going on? How everybody doing? Final four in the NBA, Western Conference Finals, Eastern Conference Finals. Ready to get into it.
Man, we got a lot to talk about. Sorry if y'all hear kitty shows in the background. I'm on baby duty today, but it is what it is, Coach. Out of the NBA, we're just going to get right into it. Of course, we're on Sports Empire Network, Coach Donte's channel, my channel, Twitch as well. We all over the place. But Doc Rivers, the Sixers finally canned him after 3 seasons. Couldn't get the job done in Game 7. But we all saw this coming.
Yeah, we all saw it coming. Like I say, I think it was the right move for the Sixers, even though I don't think a lot of it was his fault. Well, a lot of it was his fault. But again, when you have a playoff resume like you have, when you blew a 3-2 lead 10 times in your career, lost a 3-1 lead 3 times in your career, that's not a bad. Pretty much a bad resume. And how you handle Ben Simmons, pretty much, saying he's coming out to the media and basically saying you don't know if he could win with him, which is proving that you really can't. And him coming out and just blaming the Clipper players, for why they wasn't successful. And Doc Rivers, like I say, he deserved to be fired. I thought he should have been fired, but other than that, his lack of adjustments to when Robert Williams got inserted into the lineup, I thought that's how Boston really won. Joe Mazzulla definitely outcoached Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers had no answer. Doc Rivers had no answer for that lineup of Robert Williams and Al Horford at the same time. So his lack of adjustments in the playoffs continues to haunt him, even though, like I said, I'm not going to blame everything on Doc Rivers. I think Doc Rivers got far too much of the blame, but we're going to get into that in more of it, who I thought should be blamed for the thing. But other than that, it's the right move. Like I said, it's the right move. I think he does. You do need to change a voice in locker room, but other than that, his lack of adjustments in Game 6, in Game 7, the adjustments to make with that Robert Williams lineup, that gave him a lot of problems. And then bad floor spacing as well on the floor when you have 2 guys in the corner consistently. That's like coaching issues right there. So I understand he deserved to be fired, and rightfully so. It just depends on the next coach they hire, which is we gonna probably get to that, which I think what coach is gonna be hired. And I've been saying it all along. We'll find out.
Coach, don't wish that on that Philly, because that would go crazy.
Since last year, if he was going to get
fired. I know, and it's a chance because his name is named. We're gonna go into that. This is why some people don't need to watch basketball. He does not need to go, and we're gonna get into that. So Daniel, what's going on? But just listen to these stats real quick. In Brett Brown's last 3 seasons in Philly, here are the Sixers ranked in play type cut frequency. Now, the years 19 and 20 season, they was ranked 15th. 18th and 19th, they was ranked 4th. 17 and 18 year, they was 2nd. Now we get under Doc, 2022 and 2023, 29th. 21 and 22, 28th. 20 and 21, 30th. So you mean to tell me Brett Brown, which, we all lacked his decision making, had better rankings with the Sixers than Doc Rivers did, and Doc Rivers has been in championship situations and playoff situations. So you mean to tell me Brett Brown actually coached better than Doc with these numbers?
Well, blame people wanted him out. Brett Brown thought he was the problem, and pretty much he wasn't the problem. So other than that, hey, he was a problem of the team. He was a scapegoat once the Sixers wasn't doing too well in the playoffs. He was a scapegoat. So other than that, but Doc Rivers, definitely deserves to be fired.
His offense, was stagnant. Didn't really had no motion around to it. Nobody moved around. But again, of course, the coach is going to get blamed first. And again, it was time. It's time for a new change. 3 seasons was enough. Yeah, we got to the playoffs, but we can't get out the second round. And I feel like we could have won Game 6. Little adjustments because Tatum was horrible that game. You wait to the fourth quarter to let pretty much Jason Tatum bring the team back with his 15 points. It had an awful shooting, and you couldn't take advantage of Jason Tatum shooting the way he was shooting and still lose. The last 4 minutes of the game, your MVP doesn't touch the ball. That's a problem, and that's what we're talking about with Doc Rivers. He don't make the adjustments. He don't bring the next man type of mentality off the bench. I mean, he did bring Daniel House in that one game, and he did score 10 points, but there's other players on the team. Me personally, I'm glad he's going only because now somebody else on the bench can get a chance. He likes to play the old farts. So, what do you think about that?
Well, personally, for us when Joel Embiid not to touch the ball, like I say, I'm gonna get more of that too in depth when I touch on Joel Embiid and bust his behind for his lack of accountability. And I got a deep, long history on Joel Embiid, and y'all know this notebook is full of dump in history of Joel Embiid. But other than that, I'm not gonna say Doc Rivers is to blame for Game 7 and Game 6, especially for Joel Embiid for getting Joel Embiid the ball. Joel Embiid gotta want to get the ball. He's the MVP of the league. He has to want to he has to demand the ball. If he wants the ball, he can demand the ball anytime he wants to. So that's more on Joel Embiid than Doc Rivers. And other than that, for the last 4 minutes of the game, Joel Embiid has to demand the basketball. So I'm putting that more on Joel Embiid for the MVP that he's supposed to be, for this unstoppable player that he's supposed to be. You got to go demand the goddamn basketball. No coach shouldn't have to tell you, hey, let's get the ball to Joel Embiid. No, you're an MVP of the league. You're 30 years old. You got to get the basket. You got to want to go get the basketball. And Joel Embiid, I'm holding him a standard to that because he's the MVP of the league, and you have to demand the basketball. If he wants the basketball, he has to go get the basketball. That's not on Doc Rivers.
Facts. He was the MVP the regular season for a reason. Back-to-back scoring champs, hasn't done that since Shaq. You know how dominant Shaq was. No, ain't nobody had to tell nobody about Shaq getting the ball. They automatically gave Shaq the ball. But what's the difference? They had playmakers to give Shaq the ball. Do we really have the guard play to get Joel Embiid the ball? And then when he does get the ball, what does he do? He travels. He moves towards the top of the key. Why are we at the top of the key, Joel? Your big ass needs to stay in the paint. This is where you're going to get your points from. This is where how you got to the line. You a good free throw shooter for a reason. They complained about how many times and points you get at the free throw line. Why aren't you using your asset? I like the little mid-range, the little elbow shot. I'm not hating on that because every player has to have different moves in their arsenal. But if you're 7'3", through 285, why aren't you backing somebody down? Especially when you got a smaller player on you like Marcus Smart and Mikal Bridges. Why aren't you backing these guys down? What is so hard about taking it to the paint with Al Horford and Robert Williams? I feel like when Al Horford was on him, it was like, oh my God, I'm scared. I don't want to go in this paint no more. So I just don't understand. Maybe the next coach will come in, will hold and be more accountable and keep his big self in the paint. I can see the threes here and there. I hate it when he's at the top of the key. And your thoughts on him staying in the paint more?
I know what he's looking at. See what he was looking at when this is when the lineup came in play. This is where the lineup came in play right here. So when Robert Williams was inserted in the lineup, and every time you see Al Horford or Marcus Smart on Joel Embiid, you see Robert Williams in the paint. Robert Williams also done a great job of using his verticality as well and leaving PJ Tucker. Like I say, PJ Tucker can get any shot he wants. I'm not letting Joel Embiid hurt me. And that's what you see Robert Williams automatically playing in the paint, and the floor spacing was bad a lot of times. You had two guys on one possession. You had Daniel House and PJ Tucker in the same corner, and what's allowing Robert Williams to stay in the paint, and Marcus and Jaylen Brown just to guard the wing. So that was easy. That made it more easier for Joe Mazzulla, the game plan for Joel Embiid. And when Joel Embiid, the one-on-one matchups that he had, he got clamped up by Al Horford. Al Horford blocked in game 6. Al Horford blocked his shot 3 times in that game, just straight put him on lock in that game 6. That's the reason why he went 4 minutes without a basket. So other than that, just good job by Joe Mazzulla, and just good job by the Boston Celtics execution on Joel Embiid and executing the game plan.
Yeah, because Mazzulla was on his way out of town. Boston fans was not happy at all. But as soon as he made those adjustments, it was a wrap. That's all about adjustments in coaching in the NBA. It's a chess game. Somebody makes a move, you got to counteract that move so you don't keep getting beat. And that's what happens in game 6 and 7. Game 7, they just straight up quit. I don't care what nobody say. Tobias Harris is the high man with 19 points. One thing about I give Tobias Harris a lot of crap. I know I do, and I admit that I do. The games when he's on, I will tell you he's on. But since James Harden got to this team, he had to take a step back and find his way of scoring. When he does score, I know Tobias can score over 20 points a game because he did it before Harden was here. When it was him, Ben Simmons, and Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris was averaging and giving you at least 20 a night. He was at least giving you 29. I feel like he's out of position. He just sits there and wait for the 3 to come. Tobias is a good post up. He has a good mid range. He can shoot the 3 a little bit. He's good. He's one of our best perimeter defense guys. He's just out of place. And Doc didn't give him no plays, no sets for Tobias Harris. So he has to sit there, and when he gets the ball, he has to sit there and make his own points. So yeah, I know I get people that poop on Harris, because like I said, I do too, and I just want to see the consistency with him. But with Tobias Harris, is he can't if James Harden steady has the ball. And you're right, Bern, we can't let James Harden off the hook either, because he's not the same James Harden no more. Yeah, he gave us those 2 40-point games, but then after that, he disappeared.
But everyone should know that, though. Everybody should know that. So while I'm not going to waste my time talking about James Harden, because everybody should know he's not going to step up in a big time game 7 or a big time set game 6. You know what Harden is. You know what Harden is. That's just like a waste of time. But at the same time, here's the reason why the series went 7. Here's the reason why the series went 7. So let's put that up out there. Let's get that clear. He is not off the hook, but you know James Harden is not going to show up in a big time game. So don't nobody need to waste their breath on James Harden not being off the hook, because he's definitely not off the hook. He definitely put up a stinker. 4 for 16 in game 6, just atrocious. But he's been doing that all his career. So you know what James Harden is. A lot of people don't know who Joel Embiid is, and that's why this comes into play. I got this working on this all night, comes into play right here. So other than that, hey.
Yeah, we all know how dominant Joel is in the regular season. Just imagine if Joel had his Robin. Again, every superstar had a partner. Kobe and Shaq, Jordan and Pippen, Steph and Clay. They all have a counterpart. They also have role players too. So again, we got to hold Joel to a type of standard. He has to be held accountable, just like we wanted Ben Simmons to be accountable. He's far way off of Ben Simmons with accountability. He'll. I didn't like what he said though in the press conference. I just felt like he was very laxed about it. He's going to go the route that Giannis did. Okay, but the difference is between him and Giannis with a championship. Giannis will get the ball. His teammates will find a way to get him the ball, and he don't complain about it. So that's the only thing I didn't like about Joel. With maybe over the summer, think about it. I don't want Joel to drop some weight. I know it's hard, 7'3", you're the most dominant player. Maybe you can lose a couple pounds. Maybe get a little looser. Understand he's injury prone. That's the thing. He only missed 2 games, but other than that, he still played. So you can't say injury was something to worry about, because he did take his brace off, but he just wasn't his dominant self. You go for getting 30 points every game in the playoffs to 15. That's definitely not acceptable. Again, like I said, we already know what James Harden does. He's James Harden. And then it came to find out that James was like, well, if Doc's here, I don't want to play. All right, so now here comes the drama. Here's where the drama lies. So they chose Harden over Doc, but somebody had to go. But I still don't think Harden's going to stay. Well, we gonna get close into that a little bit. And B got 2 left feet. He's always falling. He falls so much. We know what the bottom of his shoes look like. That's how much he falls. But to answer old man's question, who is the right fit for the Sixers? We all know a lot of coaches got cut, got fired, and they're all championship caliber coaches, except for Monty Williams. Monty Williams got let go. Frank Vogel, he doesn't have a job. Won a championship in the bubble with the Lakers. Coach Bud won a championship with the Bucks. You got Steven Silas, who got let go. Nick Nurse with Toronto. Who would be the best fit for the Sixers, Donte? And don't say D'Antoni, even though I know you're going to.
I'll be realistic. I'm not going to say D'Antoni. Who, even though I think that may be the higher, because of Daryl Morey, it doesn't look good. And now Doc Rivers out. James Harden probably asked for Doc. I think he did want Doc Rivers out, which is that. But I'm not going to say Mike D'Antoni should be the coach. I'm going to go Monty Williams. I'm going to go to Monty Williams. I think Monty Williams leading the Phoenix Suns to the finals when they lost to the Milwaukee Bucks. His ability, coach ability to call players out, and stuff like that. And I think he'll be a good coach. I think he'll be a good coach for the Sixers and James Harden opposing if he stayed. But other than that, I think Monty Williams.
Okay, Coach, I appreciate it, because no, exactly. I'm gonna go right to Camden. It's only 10 minutes away in the car. I'm going right to Jersey, and me and Daryl we're gonna have conversation.
I said Mike D'Antoni. He's gonna choose Mike D'Antoni, but as far as who should be the coach, I think Monty Williams. But I've been saying Mike D'Antoni. He's gonna. My prediction is Mike D'Antoni, and Mike D'Antoni gonna be the coach of the next 76ers. It all works well.
It would be offensive. It's going to be defensive hell if Mike D'Antoni gets hired. But Daryl Morey, man, it's going to I don't know what it is. I think if we get one more season of this between Morey and Elton Brand in the front office, I think this is when Josh Harris will come down and be like, look, something got to give, and this ain't working between y'all. So y'all got to go. We got to get a GM in here that knows the team, and knowing that Joel Embiid is on a short leash in the ceiling when it comes to ceiling and prime right now. So you need to bring some stars around him. Maxey, I can't say nothing about Maxey. He's still 22 years old. He's still a kid, and he's still learning. And yes, he's gotten better this year. Next year, let's see what a different coach perspective can do with him. He's improved on the 3-point shot a lot. He's fast, quick. He can get to the basket. It's just he couldn't get to the basket. But honestly, I wouldn't mind Nick Nurse or Sam Cassell. I wouldn't mind those two. So, Daryl, please don't do D'Antoni. It's some folks that want D'Antoni. I don't know why in they right mind they would want a Mike D'Antoni, but I can't see D'Antoni. I can see Cassell, maybe Nick Nurse. He'll definitely make the adjustments, because you saw what he did in some of the Toronto series, and just when they didn't even play the Sixers, just when they won the championship. So so I'll take those two. Monty Williams too. I don't know if Bud and Embiid will click, because he had a dominant player in Giannis. So I don't know, but I'll take those. Anybody but D'Antoni.
Yep. So if you don't mind, I'm about to get into this resume.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, do what you do.
About Joel Embiid. So first of all, we got people and Joel Embiid cried about the MVP trophy for 3 years, which is you can argue, straight cried and moaned about the MVP. And a lot of people were saying Jokic was fraudulent MVP. He didn't deserve the MVP. Like I said, I had Joel Embiid winning it the first 2 years, but I wasn't mad because he got it, because he definitely deserved it. So what I wrote down on this resume, first of all, regular season, Joel Embiid, the last 2 years, was the number one player in the NBA for scoring. You know where he ranks since 2021 in the playoffs? He's ranked number 16 in the playoffs. You know the players that's in front of Joel Embiid, right? Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant, Anthony Edwards is in front of Joel Embiid in playoff scoring. Brandon Ingram, number 10 in front of Joel Embiid. Ja Morant, number 12. Jamal Murray, Jokic's teammate, is in front of Joel Embiid. Donovan Mitchell. Y'all want to know the number 15, and you can't even guess who's in front of Joel Embiid in his first in his 2 years that you've seen the spark come up out of him in the playoffs. Jalen Brunson is in front of Joel Embiid. So we want to talk about the players, coaches, that he has good enough. Well, why is Jimmy Butler? He doesn't have a Robin. Why can he get to the Eastern Conference Finals? Why does he get there? Why could he? Jason Tatum can step up in big moments. They have him and Jaylen Brown. He can get to the Eastern Conference Finals. So all the players and coaches for Joel Embiid, I don't want to hear it. So elimination games, his points per game, 22 points per game in elimination games, 22 points per game, 38% from the field in elimination games. That's all in elimination games. Now, versus Miami last year, Game 5 and Game 6. You know what this man averaged in Game 5 and Game 6? 18 points per game, both in Game 5 and Game 6. Games where it mattered. This is games where it mattered the most. 18 points per game. He is the MVP. He shot 38% from the field and 22% from the three-point line. Game 6 versus Miami, 20 points, 7 of 24 from the field. 7 of 24 from the field. The MVP of the league. 2 for 8. Now, we go to Atlanta. We want to go to Atlanta. We're going to dig on to Atlanta. Game 4, 17 points in Game 4. 4 of 20 with 4 turnovers. That's Game 4. That's Game 4 right there. All right. The very next game versus Atlanta, he had a stinker. 22 points, 9 of 24, 8 turnovers. By the way, he had 8 turnovers in 2 of those games. In that series. But no, Ben Simmons was a scapegoat, it was fair. But who looked at Joel Embiid? Toronto, from games 4 through 7 in Toronto. You know how much this man averaged? In Toronto, that's 2019. Pretty much everybody know that's the year that they had Jimmy Butler. So this is another thing where players can't get an excuse because of the players, because you had Jimmy Butler. So you know what this man did 4 through 7 games? You know what this man did? Decided to do 15 points per game, games 4 through 7. 36% from the field, 31% from the three-point line. That's what he did. Game 7, 21 points, 6 for 18 from the field. That's in Game 7. Game 7 at Atlanta, by far, 31 points was probably his best game in the playoffs. 31 points. But he had 8 turnovers. In the playoffs this year, regular season, 33 points per game, the best scorer in the NBA. But again, 23 points in the playoffs. And yes, James Harden gets blamed, but we already know what James Harden is. We know what he is at this point. We know he's not going to step up. But this is an MVP. This is the MVP of the league, who people said this guy's better than Nikola Jokic, which is I'm going to get on Jokic versus Embiid in a second, which is I'm going to get on that. And Jokic is in the Western Conference Finals tonight, and Embiid is at home for another year. But Jokic got so much shit from losing in the first round last year. But I'm going to get into that. We all know Harden is a blame. But this is the MVP, Joel Embiid, who straight cried and moaned and crapped and bitched about the MVP award. And this is his history on how he's doing. Now, 2019 against Toronto, 17 points per game. That's throughout the whole series. 17 points per game against Toronto. Jokic versus Embiid. Jokic stats, Embiid versus Golden State, but he got so much shit from losing that series. 31 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists, and 5.8 assists, and 57% from the field. That's Jokic stats versus, there's Golden State, but he didn't get a pass because you know why? He couldn't. It wasn't no excuse because you know why? He had his two best players out. But he had 31 points. He actually played great in that series. Embiid versus Tatum. I'm almost done. Embiid versus Tatum. Embiid got outplayed by Tatum in this playoffs. 25.6 points per game for Joel Embiid. Jason Tatum averaged 29 points, 29, 11, and 5. That's on Joel Embiid. And plus, Joel Embiid was straight trash in game 7 on Tatum. He got cooked in game 7 versus Jason Tatum. And last but not least, before this all get out. So Joel Embiid, this is the playoffs. Joel Embiid versus Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic game absolutely elevates in the playoffs. Nikola Jokic game elevates in the playoffs. Joel Embiid take a big shit in the playoffs. It's not even close. 33 points per game. 33.7 points per game. 12 rebounds. 9 assists. 47% from the three-point line. Jokic's last 10 games. 32.5 points per game. 12 rebounds. 10 assists. Joel Embiid, 23 and 9. That's all you need to know. So before we start shitting on Giannis from having a Drew Eric Bledsoe and killing him, and he got a championship, before we start shitting on Jokic and saying he's a fraudulent MVP, and he's been to the West Finals twice and plays way better in the playoffs than Joel Embiid, yes, we're going to have this damn discussion about Joel Embiid being that goddamn guy. You so unstoppable, and I'm going to hold his ass accountable for being that. I'm going to treat him like a damn superstar. And other than that, we know what James Harden is. We know what he is already. We know he's not going to show up. But he's the reason why they won 3 of those games, at least 3 of these games. Joel Embiid did straight shit in the playoffs. But that's all I wanted to touch on. I want y'all to give y'all a deep dive of Joel Embiid's history. And like I said, I still think Joel Embiid is slightly better than Jokic, but we're not going to shit on Jokic and not shit on Joel Embiid for playing worse actually in the playoffs.
I can't do nothing but just shake my head because all that's true. All of it is true. It's true. I don't have nothing to say because Coach said it all. He said it all. Like, like Mo said, Harden won you, like you said, Harden won you 2 games versus the MVP. And I love Joel's my favorite player on the Sixers. I love him to death, but when you got to hold him accountable, you got to hold him accountable. Hopefully next year things will be different. So we do not know. Lazy and complacent. So, I mean, hopefully that'll all change. There's not saying. So what does Daryl Morey have to do? Because we don't have any picks this year. Nothing in the draft. Does James Harden come back? Because he has that player option. It's his decision. If that's the case, they was talking about a supermax. Do not get no supermax. James Harden, Daryl Morey. I swear for beans. I swear for beans. I will be in Camden, New Jersey, knocking on the Sixers practice facility. That's where your offices is. It's not 10 minutes away from me down where they're like Howie's office is at the link. I'm going to Camden because that's where their offices is, and we gonna have a talk. Me personally, I don't think Harden should come back. Do you try to trade or a sign and trade type of situation to get maybe another player? Do you trade Tobias? He has one year left. Now we got PJ Tucker for 2 more years. We got the Anthony Melton. That's fine. Niang can go because he's a liability on defense. Can't play a lick of defense. Niang can go. Korkmaz can go. I felt like Doc ain't do nothing with Shake Milton this whole playoff season except garbage time minutes. I felt like Shake Milton could have been maybe a turning point because when Shake goes off, he gets his flashes. He can light it up. Then you really didn't see McDaniels that much. I know McDaniels probably won't be in, but Daryl, I need you to get us a bench and put some players around Joel Embiid for some floor spacing. Something. I don't even know who's on the market, who's going to be out there. But what do you see Daryl doing something at the draft, or do you see him doing something now?
Well, I don't know. I don't think they got the best of cap space right now. I don't think you can't do nothing in the draft because I don't think the Sixers have draft picks like that. So you can't really do anything in the draft, but just sit there and watch it. But other than that, you got to get some athletic people. You got no athletic people. You got nothing but fat people on the team. James Harden, not in shape every single year. PJ Tucker, is good, but I mean, you got to get more athletic. You didn't play Jalen McDaniels enough. And you got to worry about what you're going to do with D'Anthony Melton because he is a free agent too. So,
no, he's not. We got him back for a year.
Oh, y'all got him back? Okay.
Yeah.
So, at some point, again, it all depends on what coach he decides to hire. But I think it's a strong possibility James Harden can end up back in Houston, which is, like I say, I wouldn't give a damn. We're not a championship team anyway. I wouldn't. Why would I care? Why would I care? But he is going to help with stability in the locker room. And with the young players. But other than that, hey, it's not much the Sixers can do this year.
Oh, now he comes out and say he regret leaving, huh? With the grass ain't always greener on the other side. Ain't nobody put a gun to your head, PJ, and said you had to come to the Sixers. You could have stayed in Miami, but it is what it is. All right, move on from Philly. We're going on to another team in the Knicks. The Knicks played great this season. They got to the second round. Getting Jalen Brunson, getting Josh Hart, the two Nova guys, so they know each other well. And Julius Randle. It's time for Julius Randle to get out of here. I've been seeing rumors. Cat getting traded to New York. Would that work? Would that get New York over the hump?
I'm not gonna say we'll get New York over the hump, but Cat has a long background history too. Of not showing up in the playoffs. So I don't know if that's gonna work too much better. But I think with Mitchell Robinson, I think they can win more with Mitchell Robinson than Cat and and Julius Randle. So Julius Randle is a guy that's going to need the ball all the time. He's a guy that staggers the offense a lot. And I don't think he's a good fit for New York. I wouldn't be surprised if they find a way to trade him or let him trade him this coming off season. But Cat wouldn't be too much better. Yes, Cat will be a better shooter. He'll be a better shooter. I think he's a better offensive player. But in the playoffs, he has a terrible resume as well. He hasn't. The only reason why Embiid's resume is worse because he's been experienced playoff. Cat has not experienced that much playoff. So, but when he has been there, his resume is worse as well. So, other than that, I'm not sure how much of a bigger difference Cat will work.
Like Mo said, Cat and Randall is the same player. It's the same type of player. We've seen times when Cat can go off, and then we've seen times Cat can do nothing. Do you think Trae Young will leave Atlanta? Is it time for Trae to get out of Atlanta?
I don't think they will let him go, but I think he's on a hot. His stove is getting hot. I think his stove is getting hot, though. I think his stove is getting hot, really.
That would be crazy if Trae went to the Knicks. As much crap as the Knicks give Trae, that would be interesting. What's going on, Trae? Golden State. End of a dynasty run. I just felt like they wasn't the same Golden State. Yeah, they did come back. They wasn't that playoff tournament type of for a while, and then they pulled away and was with the regular season. But what did they do with Draymond? Does Draymond come back or?
I think Draymond is gone, to be honest. I think he's gone. I think that this is the last word of Draymond in Golden State. As far as where he goes, we'll see about that. But other than that, I think Draymond is gone. I think Draymond is gone. I think Golden State still going to be competitive, still going to be good when they got Klay Thompson, you got Jordan Poole locked up. But I think the moment Draymond punched Jordan Poole in the face, that's when the team kind of lost it and kind of was down. And the team kind of never recovered from that. But other than that, I think he's gone. I think that's the end of Draymond. I don't see them giving him a max contract.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. Bruce, we did touch on that a little bit. Sam Cassell, I did have him as one of my picks to be in line for coaching. I was reading somewhere that we still have to pay Doc 2 years. And the money isn't really there, so they promote somebody. If they do that, then Sam Cassell definitely, that will be his job. Cassell, I mean, he is good with the players, especially with Tyrese Maxey. He's always in his ear. You never know. Sam Cassell is an NBA champion. He's been in the game for a long time. Donte knows, played with his Rockets, so he's definitely a good
champion. He's a
two-time champion. Good, good player, good coach, good mentor. This might be what the Sixers needs, that type of guy, but still can get in people's asses because you got to hold somebody accountable. So I mean, I would give Sam Cassell a shot, see what he does. Nobody believed in Darvin Ham, but we're gonna talk about the Lakers in a little bit. Nobody believed what Darvin Ham can do, and he's in the East, he's in the Western Conference Finals with the Lakers. Chris Paul and Ayton. Do you see them back with the team?
I don't see Chris Paul back with the team. I really think they're going to do something with him in the offseason. And it's a big possibility that them two may not be back with the Suns. So if I'm the Suns, I would want to exploit Chris Paul out of Phoenix and DeAndre Ayton because DeAndre Ayton never wanted to be back in Phoenix. It just happily DeAndre Ayton matched the offer sheet. They had matched the offer sheet of DeAndre Ayton, someone that really didn't want to be there. So other than that, hey, no. I think they do find a way to get him up out of there, especially Chris Paul. I think they will look for a younger point guard in that situation.
The thing with the Suns is they got shooting guards playing point guards. Cameron Payne's not really a point guard, but he had to play because Chris Paul was out. I don't know. I don't see Ayton back. I don't know. 50-50 saying both of them are going to be gone. I even seen CP3 getting traded, but he don't want to retire. That's the thing with Chris Paul. He's good in the regular season. Chris Paul will go down as one of the greatest point guards ever. He will get in the Hall of Fame regardless of championship or not. He will be there. But it just seems like every time when they really need him in the playoffs, he gets hurt. Every year, never fails. He's another Joel Embiid too. Gets hurt in the playoffs when you need him. So I don't know. I think they might move on. They definitely got to get some bench. Maybe those pieces could give him a bench and maybe another starter to put around Book and KD. So we don't know. To answer Bruce's question, it all depends on what pick the Rockets have, because the draft lottery is tonight. Coach Donte
I'm gonna be live early for that one because the game is at 7:30. So I will be live for the lottery tonight early. I will be live 30 minutes earlier at 7:00 tonight for that. While the Lakers and Denver game will come on at 7:30. So the draft lottery is at 7. So I will be live 30 minutes earlier.
Wait, hold on. I gotta change the channel.
Yep. So other than that, man, like I say, a lot of things going on now. Y'all starting to see the Sixers, coming out, self-destructing all of a sudden. But like I say, man, everybody, now like I say, to me, Joel Embiid gets a lot of piece of the pie because he's the superstar of the team. He's the backbone of the team. He's the MVP. Like I say, I don't get into James Harden because, again, we know how James Harden operates in the playoffs. When James Harden shows you something and who he really is, well, that goes on for any grown-up. When they show you a stank attitude and continually do it, that's who they are. And you feel like you don't got to touch on James Harden anymore because you know who he is. You know who he is already before you get in the series. But, again, you ain't going to negate. He is the reason why they were in the game 7. He is the reason why they won at least 2 of those games by carrying them in game 1 and actually game 4. So a lot of people didn't know who Joel Embiid was until I read this. So I read all of this resume and let everybody know he has a funky resume as well of not showing up in the playoffs. And it's been going on all through his career. And so is James Harden, but you already know what you were getting out of James Harden anyway. So other than that, can't wait till the draft tonight. And like I said, a lot of draft, we'll see.
They do got the chances. I think the Spurs, Detroit, and Houston had a higher percentage of getting number 1. So we'll see. So to answer, Bruce, can they get Brandon Miller at all? I think it all depends on where they're going to land. If they're going number 1, they're getting Victor. Somebody else is going to get Brandon. But let's just say if Houston is 2 or 3, possibly Brandon Miller can fall right to them.
Like Victor is not a fit for Houston. If we get number 1, I would consider trading 2 spots because I don't think he's a fit for Houston. We just drafted Sengun. I don't think we need a center. I think we need a small forward. And I think Brandon Miller or Scoot Henderson is the perfect fit for Houston. I just don't think – I just like whatever decision the organization goes in, we're going to get a great player any way it goes. We're going to either out of Scoot Henderson or Brandon Miller or Wemby, we're going to get a great player. But I just think more fit-wise, Brandon Miller and Scoot fits us more than Victor. And plus you got the Thompson twins. They fucking good. Them Thompson twins fucking good. They fucking good, man.
I just look at Victor and I think it's a Chet Holmgren 2.0 because they both got the same body stature. They both is skinny.
They both got foot problems and all that.
But OKC is definitely going to be a different team, and when Chet Holmgren comes back, that's going to be a fun team to watch. Houston got Udoka, who I wanted in Philly if Doc Rivers got canned, but I think he's gonna turn them around a little bit. We gonna get to John Morant. We gonna get to John Morant, Damien. That's on the list too. But Coach, before we get down to the nitty gritty of things as far as the Western Conference games and everything else, the East Conference games, before we get into John Morant, you got your list. Who's number 1 today?
My list. Well, number 1. I can bet you shit. It ain't James Harden or Joel Embiid. It ain't not one of them goddamn. That shit was calls for from last night. But other than that, number 5, we're gonna go with Bam Adebayo. Bam Adebayo at number 5. We're gonna go with him in the closeout game 6 in Miami. He had 23 points, 9 rebounds, had 3 assists. Was a solid playmaker for Miami. They go to they on their way to the second. We seen a rematch of last year, Eastern Conference Finals, Boston versus Miami. It should be a very good series. Number 4, I got Jamal Murray at number 4 in the closeout game versus Phoenix. 26-4-4 for Jamal Murray. Number 3, heartbreaking loss. He did everything he could to keep his team in the game, to help his team win. Jalen Brunson, 41 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists. Nikola Jokic, number 2. Nikola Jokic, number 2, 32, 12, and 10 for Nikola Jokic, another damn triple-double. And we already know, if you don't know who number 1 is already, we already know the man that put Sixers away last Sunday, JT, aka Jason Tatum. It was just no answer for him. Every time Joel Embiid, like I said, it's just not Joel Embiid. Whoever got on Tatum, they weren't stopping him. Hey, Joel Embiid, you want some of this work? Come get it. PJ Tucker, you want some too? Come get it. Maxey, you smoking my weed too? Come get it. That's how Jason Tatum was in the game. 51 points, 5 assists, 13 rebounds for Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum is number 1 on the coaches list in these playoffs this week. Like I said, we're going to do baseball too. On this list once we get in. But next year, I'm going to start writing down the most people who's been on the list more. Sometimes I kind of avoid people because, again, they can be on the list every single week. But sometimes I just avoid people. But that Jason Tatum is number 1 on the list this weekend.
Scoring the most points in a game 7, dropping 51 of them things. I knew he was due for a breakout game because he was having a horrible series. I knew this was going to come in game 7. What was I telling people all that week? They was like, "Oh, Key, y'all finally going to do it?" Hell no, we ain't doing it. We going to lose. We are losing. I called it. I said Boston in 6. They actually went 7. So I got an extra game. But no, we wasn't winning. And that's being a true, real fan. I am real when it comes to my teams. If we poop, I'm going to tell y'all we stink. If we the truth, I'm going to tell y'all why we the truth. But, regular season, we was okay. We started off 12-12, and I was like, uh-oh. But then we got hot, and, we gelled together. I'm like, okay, we might could do something with this. And then as soon as the playoffs came, I was like, oh, we going to have Boston in the second round? We not winning this game. Yeah. We going to take care of Brooklyn. We swept them. I gave them a gentleman series. I was wrong. As soon as we got to Boston, I'm like, okay, we gonna lose this. Yep. The first game, I was like, okay, hard. I was like, all right, that's our first win. I'm like, all right, then they beat us in Boston. Second game, then we went home and 1-1. I was like, oh, okay. Then we won again. I was like, wait a minute now. Let me not get my hopes up. Did we do a little bit of me had maybe a 5% chance. I was like, we can actually go to the second round. No. Game 7 after the first half, because we was only down 3, I was feeling good until I started watching that third quarter. I'm like, nope, it's a wrap. I turned it off. I didn't even watch the rest of the game. I turned it off. Click. All I saw all game down the court, Jason Tatum. Swap in the corner. Jason Tatum. Swap. That's all I kept seeing was Jason Tatum. I'm like, oh no, it's a wrap. It's a done deal. I'm turning this off. So
came to the locker room and say, yeah, we feel good. We about to go to the finally get to the Eastern Conference Final. Jason Tatum said, no, you're not. I didn't say that.
But let's go to this Ja Morant thing, because that is a hot topic here in the NBA. So Damian says, do you think Ja Morant's career is over and done with after screwing up twice? I think he should be banned. We all know Ja Morant was on film again with the gun on IG Live, and this is his second offense. The first time, I just felt like he wasn't real and sincere about it. He got 8 games. That's a little slap on the wrist. Then he gets suspended from the Grizzlies team play. I just feel like Ja is going in a dangerous direction. Okay, you want to have guns, that's fine, but why do you have to flash it? Knowing you got the young kids that look up to you, you have a daughter at that. Do you want her growing up saying, oh, my dad's a gangbanger, he does this, knowing how talented he is? He is so talented. Ain't nobody know who Ja Morant was in Murray State in the playoffs. They just saw this kid like, who is this? Yep. And then as you seen, Ja still has potential to be great. He can be the MVP one day, but the way he's going, I don't even know if he's going to be around to see it. Your thoughts on Morant?
Well, Morant, like I say, idiotic decision making for what he did. I thought, like I said, like you said, it was a slap on the wrist for him. But this year, I don't think it should be a slap on the wrist. I don't think it should be slap on the wrist. I think he should get a 1 year suspension. I actually think he should get a 1 year suspension to take some time off, let him think. I don't think he should be banned from the NBA. I don't think he should be. You should go that far for to keep the man not from playing again. That's just too. That's just too much. But 1 year suspension, at least give him that. At least give him a 1 year suspension for his actions until he shows some improvement. So other than that, I don't think his basketball career should be taken away from him just like that. But I do believe you can't give him no more slaps on the wrist. You gotta just give him just a 1 year ban would be okay for me. 1 year ban to get his head on straight, get him some counseling as well, and bring him back in the NBA after the 1 year suspension. Just suspend him for 1 year. I think that would be pretty good.
Right. I don't know who he needs to talk to or get his mind right, something. Because you take something away from him that he loves doing, maybe something to click. I got to feed this, how I feed my daughter. I'm he's still a young kid. So, of course, young kids do dumb things. But it's just you going down the wrong path, child. Like, this is not the path you want to go down. And everybody's like, oh, well, his dad can talk to him. Yeah, his dad could be in his ear, but at the end of the day, he's still grown. You can lead one of the famous saying the old folks. I'm sure your grandma must have told it to you too, Donte. I've got it told to. You can lead the horse to the well, but you cannot make him drink. So, let's talk about these conference finals we got over here in the West coming up later on. And again, Coach will be doing that game as well as the draft lottery. So you get to see who's number one. But we got the Denver Nuggets going up against the Lakers, y'all. Yes, y'all heard me say it right. The Los Angeles Lakers, who me including myself, didn't think we was going to be here. Didn't have them coming out of the play-in. They proved everybody wrong after the trade. They got some pieces and they've been playing great. As long as Anthony Davis stays healthy, this Lakers team is dangerous, and I've credited them for that. But a certain person in the chat don't let us hear the end of the day about the Lakers. So, who wins this series and who's going to the finals? Is it going to be the Lakers or is it Denver?
Well, I have Denver picked in the middle of the season to go to the finals, so I am going to stick with that pick. I do think the series goes 7, and I do think the Lakers can win the series, but I like Denver chances of winning this series. Nikola Jokic don't have to score to impact the ball game. He doesn't really have to. With a healthy Jamal Murray. Now, my X factor is going to be Michael Porter Jr. If Michael Porter Jr. can step up in this series, I think that gives Denver an opportunity to win this series. You do got Bruce Brown, who's really good 3-and-D player as well, who's improved on the 3-point line, who's improved on the three as well, and can defend the best player. You do got Caldwell Pope, who can shoot, who's really good. And if you need some more depth coming off the bench, you got the Christian Braun, the rookie out of Kansas, who I was high on in the draft. And you got Grandpa Jeff Green. Out there, still can high fly and still can give you some production. So I kind of like Denver's chances of going to the NBA Finals. Like I say, that was my pick in the middle of the season. And there, I'm not going to bank off that pick. But I do think the Lakers can win the series and get to the finals as well. But I'm going to take the Denver Nuggets this year. I know if Jokic lose, people are going to find a way to shit on him. But if they lose, he will be playing well. Just to let you know that. He will be playing well. And other guys, like I say, Michael Porter Jr. has got to step up. He's got to step up a lot. But Jokic is going to be playing well in this series. I don't think Jokic will be the reason they lost the series. I think he's going to be consistent. He's going to post up. He's a good shooter from outside as well. And he's going to make guys better. So rather Jamal Murray, will he be that same bubble Jamal Murray? We're going to see about that. But I think my X factor is Michael Porter Jr. Also, you can't forget Aaron Gordon is really good too. So they got young athletic wings, man, that can defend and that can hop about the gym. I think the Sixers need more of those. If they can get some young athletic people and not have so much fat people up on the team that can't move and can't jump, then maybe they would get better. So other than that, I'm gonna take the Denver Nuggets in 7. I think it can be flipped the other way around too for the Lakers. You can definitely make a case for the Lakers, but I think Denver in 7.
As much as it pains me to do this, Donte, I'm gonna go Lakers in 7. I just feel like the basketball gods are gonna be on the Lakers side. If Anthony Davis stays healthy, I don't wish nothing bad on nobody. And when AD's in a game, that man is great. But we always talk about his health and the glass that he is. I hope and pray to God nothing happens to him in this series. Because again, I don't have nothing. I don't hate Anthony Davis. I want to see him playing because when AD is at his best, he is definitely top 5 when it comes to being dominant. So I think that the X factor for the Lakers is going to be Austin Reeves. That's going to be the X factor. Reeves stays hot. He can shoot from the 3. He can go in the middle too, shoot the mid range. It's going to be Austin Reeves. He's going to be the X factor. Let's just say somebody's struggling. Let's just say maybe LeBron's not on. Of course, AD's going to get his numbers. Let's say AD gets his typical, maybe 25 and 20 boards because he's capable of doing that. If Anthony Davis has 8, I knew he was going to get 20 rebounds in that last game against Golden State because in that first quarter he already had 8. I was like, oh no, he's going to have a 20 rebound day. If Anthony Davis is dominant, I'll say 30 and 15 type of day. And let's say LeBron isn't really scoring, but let's say he has a quiet 20 or so. Austin Reeves is going to be that guy that's going to come in and execute. Then you still got Hachimura coming off the bench that can be hot. Don't forget about D'Lo. He has his inconsistencies too at times where he's hot and he's cold. Another Katy Perry syndrome guy. When he's on, he's on. Dennis Schroeder's another guy. I like the Lakers bench. They do play some great defense. This should be, again, a good series, but I'm going to take the Lakers in 7. Y'all heard me say that. The Lakers in 7. And go clip it and show Freddie what I said. Damn it. All right, so in the Eastern Conference, that game, I think that game's come on tomorrow. We got the Heat and we got the Boston Celtics. Who do you got winning this series?
Like I said, I had Denver to go to the finals, and I had Boston. So I'm going to take Boston in 6 games. I like the Miami Heat, love the Miami Heat at that. But other than that, I think Boston, playing that lineup of Robert Williams and, Al Horford would give them a rebounding ability. Tatum showing up in big games when you need him to show up. If anybody can end the Heat streak and beat the Miami Heat, it will be Boston. It's going to be a great series. It's going to be a hard-working defensive series, I believe. The X factor, not the X factor, I believe what's going to separate, will this be one of these series that comes into play? Will Jimmy Butler don't have a number 2 and Jason Tatum has a main number 2 in Jaylen Brown? Will this be the series it shows up that Jimmy Butler could not do it all? And you talking about Joel Embiid want to get up on the damn podium and say, me and James can't do it all. You shit in the bed. Now you look at Jimmy Butler, someone that doesn't have a Robin. Bam Adebayo ain't no damn Robin. Bam Adebayo is a good player, but he ain't no damn superstar type player. He ain't no Robin. Especially like I say, that's someone that deserves more respect. That's someone that deserves a lot of respect right there. Again, ever since Jimmy Butler, I read the quote about Jimmy Butler saying he's tired of losing. The Miami Heat has been really good. The Miami Heat has been really good ever since they said that. So other than that, again, I think this is one of the series when that comes into play, when that finally comes into play. Boston, Joe Mazzulla done a great job making the adjustments, making the adjustments. And I think this one of these series, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum will be too much for the Miami Heat. But Jimmy Butler is going to ball. I think Jimmy Butler is going to ball out. But if Jimmy Butler players, guys can step up, it will be hard. It would be hard for the Celtics to beat them. I think this series goes 6. I think it's going to be a great series. And I think Jimmy Butler will kind of run out. This is a series Jimmy Butler will run out of gas, trying to defend, trying to do it all and stuff like that. And one more note I'm going to bring in, and I hate to keep bringing this up, but Joel Embiid has not won a game, not won a series when he has to go up against a top 20 player in the NBA. When he has to go up against a top 20 player, he has not won a game. He's the only MVP that has not made it to an Eastern Conference Finals game. That's crazy. That is crazy to me, but I got Boston winning this series in 6.
Look, even if we beat Boston, what did I tell you? We can't beat Miami either. So we can't beat Miami either. But I'm with you. I'm gonna go with Boston. Boston got too many playmakers besides JT. Got Jaylen Brown when he's hot. Horford when he's on, he can get you buckets. You still got Grant Williams, still got Derek White, still got Marcus Smart. I just feel like the Boston is deeper than Miami. Bam's not consistent, but he's good. Gabe Vincent, Strus, these guys, Kevin old behind Kevin Love. Like you said, Jimmy got to do it all, and I think this is where he's going to run out of gas. I'm gonna say Boston in 6. I give Miami 2 games, and then it's going to be the battle of who can get the most titles in NBA history. Will it be Boston getting 18, or will it be the Lakers getting 18? That's going to be my finals. Boston and LA. That's my finals.
Yep.
Except you got Boston and Denver.
I remember I picked them earlier in the season when on top of the key, I picked Denver to make it to the finals. This is the year that I think Denver could make it to the finals, and I picked Boston. And I have absolutely Boston winning the finals if that series was to happen.
So these series should be very, very interesting. NBA season is almost over. But we do got the WNBA coming up this week. We'll talk about that later on in the show. A few things for WNBA. Tyler Hero, he out for the season? Like, did he break his hand?
Yeah, he broke his hand. He's not playing.
He's not playing. Damien, Tyler Hero's done. See how much you pay attention.
You don't pay attention at all, bro. You just throw stuff out there, just throw it out there, dude. You don't pay attention at all.
But no, it should be a good series. But make sure y'all tune in Thursday night, first episode of Queens on the Court. We're going to talk about the season that's starting on Friday, break down who's our rookie picks, teams to watch out for, blah, 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 all that good stuff. So make sure y'all tune in 9 o'clock Eastern time for the Queens on the Court. NFL. I'm ready for football because my team's out. So I'm ready to just talk about NFL. The schedule broke down, and man, oh man, it's a doozy for some teams, and some teams it's easy. But who do you think has the hardest schedule as of right now?
Who do I think has the hardest schedule? I believe everybody's schedule is hard. That's what I'm gonna go by. I just believe everybody's schedule is hard. I don't believe there's no easy schedule in this league. I believe everybody, just because it's assuming that you see a certain team on your paper, you think it's a hard schedule. Everybody's schedule is hard. Everybody's schedule is hard. So I'm gonna go with none of the above. I'm gonna just go with everybody's schedule is hard. It's not easy to beat all of those teams or most of those teams. Every time you play on Sundays, you gotta go. You basically gotta earn it. You gotta earn it. And Damien, I would like to see a report on who reported that Tyler Hero is playing. I would love to see a report up on that.
Yeah, because I didn't see that. But according to this strength of schedule, Eagles are number 1 with the hardest strength of schedule. So you got the Eagles, Miami, New York Giants, the Patriots, Dallas, the Jets, Buffalo, the Commanders, the Rams, Raiders, Cardinals, Denver. That rounds out the top 10. Now, closer to this bottom, according to this list, Atlanta has the easiest schedule. But I ain't gonna lie, the Eagles do got a tough stretch after the bye. KC, the Bills, 49ers, Dallas, Seattle. Why NFL? Why did you do this to us? But anyway, trying to see what the prime be. Hold on, let me get the list up. What games prime time you looking looking at? Like, which matchups are you looking to see?
San Francisco versus the Eagles again. I can't wait to see that game again. It's some bad blood between those two teams. Even though Jimmy Ward has some bad blood with the Eagles, but he's not there no more. He's with my Houston Texans. But you still have Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk there that has some bad blood. So I would love to see that matchup again. I can't wait for that matchup to come up.
And everybody's saying that the Super Bowl rematch should have been the opening game, but it's going to be the Lions versus the champs in Kansas City. What do you think is going to happen there? Will we see a massacre, or you think the Lions could possibly go toe-to-toe with Kansas City?
I think they got the offense to go toe-to-toe with Kansas City. I think they got offense, but I don't believe they have the defense will be just there yet. And it's good to see Detroit get some recognition. They definitely deserve it. And it's going to be the opportunity to see what they're going to really have and what type of team they're going to be really made of going up against Kansas City.
Trying to pull up the prime time schedule here. Give me 1 second. Of course, we're gonna see Aaron Rodgers prime time. So he's with the Jets. I know the Jets got some games prime time. Miami. Well, what team are you interested in seeing just because of the rookies they got besides your own team? I know you're excited about to see your squad, but what other team are you looking to be watching?
They got rookies on that squad? Or what team in general?
Yeah, just what team in general.
Oh, okay. What team in general I'm looking to watch? I will be looking forward to watching Seattle, man. Seattle got some good, interesting pieces on that team. They did get Jackson Smith-Njigba. Now they got some help on that team. You got Tyler Lockett, who's good. You're gonna have DK Metcalf, Walker. You got Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet is in the same backfield. That's gonna be pretty scary. Derek Hall on the defensive side of the ball. Man, Seattle's gonna be an interesting team to watch.
Oh, yeah. So this week 1, it's definitely going to be some interesting games. Of course, you got the Lions and the Chiefs to Thursday to open it. Got the Texans versus the Ravens. Eagles got to travel to Foxborough. You got the Bucks Vikings. You got the Raiders Broncos. Cowboys and Giants going to be that Sunday night game. And then you got the battle at NFC North with the Packers and the Bears. That division is going to be up in the air now. So I'm still taking. I might see the Lions take that division this year, but we'll get into that when we do our picks and predictions coming up soon. But what team, and I'm interested to look in, Seattle, that's one. Definitely the Lions. But no, I'm actually interested to see what Chicago does. They did get some pieces around Justin Fields. They got him a good quality offensive lineman and Darrell Wright. So I want to see what the Bears do offensively and defensively. They did have a okay draft. So let's see what they can do. Let's see what Justin Fields can do. We already know what he can do. He had to pretty much do it all. He had 1,000 yards rushing because he had nobody to throw to. So now, you got Claypool, you got yourself DJ Moore, and some more pieces. So let's see what they can do. They got a good quality running back as well. So let's see what the Bears can do. Of course, I gotta be a homer. Gotta see what the Eagles do. Can we get back? We'll see. I'm not counting them out. Got a different defensive coordinator now. We still had a good draft too. So I'm gonna say the Eagles in Chicago. Now it looks like there might be some hot water over there in Vegas, Donte, because the Adams is not happy where this offense is going. What's going to end up happening to Devontae Adams in the Raiders country?
I don't see them trading Devontae Adams. I think he will stay put. But other than that, hey man, it's not looking good for him. He's not impressed, and by next year, I think he's going to be gone. I think it's an opportunity. He's going to be gone. So whatever happens, no matter how much he respects what's on his mind, I don't think they're going to trade him this year. But I believe next year will be an opportunity to trade him.
Yeah, no, I don't see him there either. Will Josh Jacobs even be there next year? He signed the franchise tag. Raiders might be in trouble. Raiders might be in trouble. But Pat McAfee show is coming to ESPN in the fall. So Pat McAfee will be on ESPN. That was his big breaking news today. So he's going to be on right after First Take, I believe he said. Of course, you got Get Up, First Take, and then Pat McAfee. He's going to be on ESPN, ESPN Plus, and ESPN YouTube all at the same time. So big come up for Pat McAfee, and he just had a kid too. So I'm sure they had to give out beaucoup dollars for Pat McAfee. If I believe somebody told me around eight figures. That's a lot of damn money. I would have took it too, just as long as he's not awarded down Pat McAfee. Matt Ryan will be in the broadcast booth now. So he's done with football. So he's going to be on the CBS analyst. Peacock will now be exclusively carry the NFL playoff games. So y'all better get on the Peacock train. If y'all don't got Peacock already, and maybe somebody will be nice to y'all and let them lend you their Peacock information. But NFL will carry the Peacock games. We're gonna have our first ever Black Friday game. So I'm excited for the NFL. I'm excited. Devontae Adams also said he didn't need Aaron Rodgers to be an All-Pro. Do you believe that?
Nope, I didn't. I don't. I believe that very much. Yes, he didn't need Aaron Rodgers to be an All-Pro. Yes, he didn't. He's not lying.
And Snyder is finally out with the Commanders. It looked like Josh Harris, owner of the Sixers, looks like he's going to get the Commanders. Now I was going back to Sixers just for a little bit. I was listening to the radio over here in Philly, and the one guy called in. He was like, he feels like Josh Harris shouldn't be the owner anymore. That doesn't have nothing to do with basketball because he got two other teams. He's actually done well with the Jersey Devils. When he brought the Devils, it wasn't for that much. Now he triple times the worth of the New Jersey Devils because they're in the playoffs. Look at the Sixers. I'm sure they're top teams when it comes to revenue to bringing in money. The Commanders, let's see if he can turn that ownership around. But it has nothing to do with how many teams you have. I think he's a committed owner. He's there at every game. I'm sure if next year, if something doesn't give, I'm sure he's going to be like, okay, you got to go, and you damn for sure got to go. So you can't say, oh, it's the ownership and Josh Harris. Is it the front office? Yes. So that's when we got to look at who's in the front office. Can that get better? Of course. But you don't just say, "Oh, I blame the ownership."
Yep.
So you just can't say that. But gonna get into some WNBA news before we get on out of here because nothing really going on in baseball right now. That's interesting. But Becky Hammon, she is suspended. Becky Hammon and the Aces. So the WNBA is going to rescind their 2025 first round pick, and they suspend Becky Hammon for 2 games. Why did they suspend Becky Hammon for 2 games? So the following investigation that found that the franchise violated league rules regarding impermissible player benefits and workplace policies because of what happened to De'Erica Hamby. So it announced that the penalties Tuesday, the team violation entailed promises of imperishable benefits during the contract extension negotiations for former player De'Erica Hamby. The respect in the workplace violation stemmed from comments Hammond made to Hamby in connection to her pregnancy and all this other stuff. So it stemmed from there. So she gets 2-game suspension, and they won't have a pick in 2025 because they don't already have a pick in 2024 first round selection because of the trade. So damn, they can't pick nothing.
Damn.
They can't pick for a while. He's better than Shad Burns said he's better than Shad Khan over there in Jacksonville. We got some cuts as well. Oh, Donte, that's the question. I'm sure we're going to reiterate it back again on Thursday, but I'm going to ask you the question. Does the WNBA need to expand teams the way they're cutting people, the way they're drafting? Not saying that they're not good, but you are drafting these players who was good in college, and you come over just to cut them. Do you think it needs to be expansion teams?
Yeah, I think it needs to be a couple of expansion teams. Yes, I do think it needs to be expanded.
Because we had some more people getting cut today. So my Sparks let go of Monica Zindano, who they drafted. Bree Beal got cut from Minnesota. Alexis Morris, she gets cut as well. Your girl Abby Myers, from they let her go. Destiny Henderson, that's a second-year star.
Yeah, started getting cut
over there in with the Fever. I think Destiny Henderson can get picked up by somebody else. But it's just crazy that these girls get drafted and then they come and bust their ass and play for the team. You got them hyping up the team for them to get cut. So I still think, it needs to be expansion team for this reason, or you never know, in the season somebody else might get picked up. But yeah, I'm gonna burn at least maybe 4 more teams to get added. You're adding. There was a lot of girls that got drafted this draft class for 3 rounds. I think they said it was like 100 and something that got invited. Not everybody got drafted. Now with this, if you add teams, everybody can get drafted. Everybody can get put on the team. Philly definitely needs a WNBA team. If they got the Sixers, like I said, I'll be a season ticket holder if that happens. So, put one in Philly, maybe putting one, I'm not saying back in Houston, but that was the greatest women's that was the greatest WNBA team in WNBA history. I know they had the Monarchs, the Sacramento went at one time. Yep. They had the Shock. With Detroit, they had the Charlotte Sting, right? So maybe they bring those teams back in that high market area. I think a team should go. When you already got one in Vegas, they was talking about somewhere on the Bay, Golden State area, San Fran. I would, if you're gonna do WNBA teams, put them in a large market. Don't put them in nowhere that's small, like a Utah. Who the hell is in Utah besides the Jazz? Nobody cares about Utah. Tampa Bay, Orlando, places like that. Maybe another team in Texas. New York already has a team. Just somewhere in some market area where they're going to get seen and looked at. Maybe California needs another team. I know they only just have the Sparks. So maybe you put another team in California. So, but they had some great talent in the WNBA. I can't wait till the season starts on Friday. But we're going to talk about it more on Thursday with the Queens on the court. Is there anybody that you want to put on the grill? You already blasted Joel Embiid. Is there anybody from anywhere else? It could be baseball. Anybody that you can think of that's a thorn in your side right now?
Nah, ain't nobody else can think that I can really think of. Like I say, Joel Embiid, had to feel like I had to do it because, again, just unfair how everybody treated Giannis and treated Jokic, and saying Jokic wasn't deserving of the MVPs, a fraudulent MVP. They gave him so much shit on how he lost to Golden State without his 2 top players even playing, and he still averaged 31 points per game in that series. He still averaged 31 points per game in that series, and Giannis got so much shit as well because he lost with Eric fucking Bledsoe on the goddamn team. So he got a lot of crap, but Joel Embiid all of a sudden gets a pass. And now you want to always blame the goddamn coaches and the damn players. The players not good enough. Well, obviously they were good enough. They were good enough to make it to a second. They were good enough to make it to the second round. This is the year they supposed to win to the Eastern Conference Finals. Then the year that they lost with against Kawhi Leonard, that was the best year that they supposed to win to the Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, you asked for Ben Simmons to go out. He's gone, so he's not a scapegoat no more and still lost. Doc Rivers is gone. Next year, who's going to be the scapegoat? Who's going to be the scapegoat next year? So I just feel like everybody was putting scapegoats on the Sixers, but nobody really looked at Joel Embiid. And this is why I put it down and did some research all night for the last 2 days and put this down. Just so it is Joel Embiid, and he's a reason as well why the Sixers can't get over hump. The losing started way before James Harden got there. The second round losses started way before James Harden even got there. So let's clear that up. We already know what James Harden is. We already know what type of guy he is. We already know he's not going to step up in big time moments. But other than that, Joel Embiid, if we're going to say he's a top 5 player and he's an elite player and he's a superstar, well, we need to treat him like he a goddamn superstar and start holding his ass accountable instead of shitting on other players that don't deserve to be shitted on, that can win the finals, that can take their team to the Eastern Conference Final, that can take their team to the final. And Joel Embiid hasn't done a damn thing yet in the league. And we talking about what players have done now. Joel Embiid hasn't done nothing yet, but losing the second round. And we always want to say, oh, he doesn't have the roster around him. He doesn't have the coaches. But at the same time, he's thinking up the goddamn gym as well. And watching Jokic again in the playoffs, and something needed to be said about that. Yes, he deserved an MVP. I thought he deserved it last year. But again, if we're gonna sit up in here and say he's a top 5 player, then people need to hold his ass accountable like a top 5 player, treat him like a damn superstar, start slandering him every time he fucks up in the playoffs.
All right, man. So there you have it, Coach, with his last words there. You know, pretty much hold Joel Embiid accountable. I don't have much to say. He didn't said everything. But make sure y'all come back and join Coach. Make sure y'all come back and join Coach tonight. He got the draft lottery and game 1 of the Western Conference Finals between the Lakers and Denver. So come on back. Any last words, Donte?
Now, Freddie said what time the Sixers play.
He always saying stuff. And for once, I didn't even say nothing bad. I didn't say nothing bad. Like, y'all are my witnesses. Mo is in the chat. You were here. I didn't say nothing bad about y'all Lakers. I ain't say nothing wrong. Dang, this is what I get for complimenting the team. Y'all right. But yeah, we on our road to 60, Donte. We on 57 today.
Yes, sir.
We are almost at 100. And I told you the 100 is going to be the jersey giveaway, so make sure y'all tune in for that when the 100th episode does drop. So tune in for that. And we're going to get on out of here early because this little rugrat I got is going to be irking my nerves soon. So if y'all hear the music in the background, that's from the TV. But let me get on out of here. Again, love, peace, and hair grease. Don't do nothing dumb. But if you is, just make sure, please, y'all do it safely. And we're going to get on out of here till next week to another episode of 7200 Seconds. We love y'all. Peace.
Peace out, you guys.
I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top. Yo.
No, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see